I've usually had a couple of cups by now. All right, so let me get back to this. I'm watching the video out of Minneapolis, and then I'm watching the coverage in Iran and what's going on in Venezuela. You know, in this country, we're the greatest country in the world, and we have more freedom than any other country in the world. No country has freedom even close to what we have. A lot of people think, you know, like Canada, you know, Australia, because they speak English, and we have some things in common with them, that they're free like us, and they are not. There is no country that has freedom even close to what we have in the United States. And, you know, I'm watching these idiot liberals in Minneapolis tearing down their own city, trying to break into this hotel because they heard ICE agents were staying there. And then I'm looking at these brave people in Iran, and I'm looking at the people in Venezuela and what's going on in Iran and Venezuela. On my podcast later this morning, which you will not want to miss, I promise you, I'm going to cover all this and show you some of what's going on. The people in Iran, because of President Trump, are taking to the streets in numbers they never have before in Iran, protesting the Islamic regime. And when this happened before, when Obama was president, they sent the army and the police out in the streets and they mowed down the protesters. And President Trump told, welcome everyone, this is where MAGA comes to talk. President Trump told Iran more than once that if you act out against these protesters, we're coming to get you. And after he took out the nuclear reactor, they know he means business. After Venezuela, they know he means business. And Iran could be liberated. Not only are there thousands of people in the streets, there's an entire city that the Islamic Republic authorities have been pushed out of. And they really have not reacted because they're afraid of Trump. This is amazing. And I saw some video this morning of women in Iran. They had a big bonfire burning their hijabs. Could you believe that? It was crazy. And then I saw this girl, they're burning their hijabs, huge bonfire. And if it wasn't for Trump and they did that, they'd be dead. So those of you, you know, these liberal women, President Trump, man, he is liberating women. You know, what these women are doing and risking right now in Iran, burning their hijabs, is so far and above what any so-called self-announced feminist has ever done in this country, I'll tell you that. And I saw one with a girl, she lit a cigarette. She took a photograph of the Ayatollah, she lit it on fire and lit a cigarette with it, and then burned the photograph. My goodness. If it were not for Trump, none of this would be happening in Iran. So that's amazing. Iran's about to be liberated because of President Trump. I promise you, in Cuba right now, you know, it's dark. I'm in the same time zone as Havana. It's dark. The street light behind me, they don't have the street lights on in Cuba because they don't have enough oil to power their plants to generate electricity, because President Trump cut the oil off coming in from Venezuela. So Cuba is going to collapse. Venezuela has been liberated, and I'm seeing images and videos of people putting photographs of President Trump up in their businesses and things in Venezuela. And then you see these spoiled, mentally ill liberals in the streets of Minneapolis trying to tear down a hotel because ICE agents stayed there. These people they have no idea what they're doing, what they're saying, what they're advocating for. They just don't get it. Oh boy, that coffee is so hot. I gotta let it cool off. I'm gonna burn my tongue. If my tongue's burned, it's hard to do a show. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. In a little over an hour, I'm gonna have a live podcast, and I'll be taking your calls. I'll be in the studio, and I'm gonna cover these things and a lot more. And just insanity is going on in this country right now. But luckily, we have President Trump. And I'm watching these people in Venezuela put these photographs of President Trump up in their businesses and everything, which is so cool. President Trump had this incredible meeting yesterday with the oil executives, and they're going to go down to Venezuela, rebuild the oil industry, and Venezuela is going to become the Dubai of South America. They're going to be Dubai rich down there, right? And I want to ask you guys this, if you agree with me on this, yes or no. I think Venezuela should become a territory of the United States, like Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Guam. And the reason that is because, you know, if you go to Latin America, what is the only place in Latin America that's not third world, run by corrupt people? You know what it is? There's one place in all of Latin America that's first world and not run by corrupt leadership. You know what that country is? It's not third world and not run by corrupt leadership. It's got to meet both of those. You know what it is? The one place in Latin America. Puerto Rico. And we're going to Puerto Rico on our MAGA cruise in March. You're all invited. And I love San Juan, Puerto Rico. It's my favorite place to go in all of the Caribbean. And the reason that Puerto Rico is first world, the only place in Latin America that's first world, is because it's a territory of the United States and we run it. So that's why. The rest of Latin America is third world and corrupt, or one of each. It may not be as corrupt, but it's third world. There's no other place that can check both of those. And if Venezuela does not become a territory of the United States and just goes back to being their own independent country, as corrupt as Latin America is, there's a chance that it can be taken over by corrupt officials in the future. So I think the Venezuelan people would welcome becoming Americans. They'd be Americans. They'd still be Venezuelans. Puerto Ricans are still Puerto Ricans. But they would be also a territory of the United States. You know, and our territories do very well. Like, you know, I've been to Puerto Rico so many times, but I've been to the U.S. Virgin Islands a lot too, on our MAGA cruises. Been there several times. Love the U.S. Virgin Islands. It's freaking awesome. And that used to be a British colony, the U.S. Virgin Islands. And did you know in the U.S. Virgin Islands they drive on the left side of the road? You know, they still have their own culture and background. Yeah. Venezuelans would have citizenship like Puerto Ricans. Yeah, Puerto Ricans have U.S. citizenship. And they still would elect their governor, and that would run their country and everything, just like Puerto Rico. They elect their governor of Puerto Rico. That'd be great. Venezuelan people, they're welcome to be U.S. citizens. Yeah, absolutely. Can you imagine we have a new territory in Venezuela. So the United States now has a territory on the mainland of South America, and we have Greenland as another territory. Holy smokes. That's pretty cool, huh? No, you don't need a passport to go to Puerto Rico. It's part of the United States. Nope. I've been to Puerto Rico, I don't know how many times. 5, 6 times. I love Puerto Rico. It's beautiful because it's a part of the United States. If it was not a part of the United States, it'd be like the rest of Latin America. Corrupt and third world. And it's beautiful down there, very just like here. Except they speak Spanish. You know. What's racist about inviting Venezuelans to become Americans, to become a territory of the United States? If they became a territory of the United States, they would never have to worry about a dictator ever again taking over their country or cartels. It's just like Greenland, right? You know, Greenland, they have the Russians and the Chinese operating off Greenland. Once Greenland becomes U.S. soil, that'll be the end of that. I like what President Trump said. Just because Denmark landed a boat there 500 years ago doesn't mean it's theirs. It's 5:27 a.m. here on the East Coast. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. In an hour, I'm going to have a podcast live here on YouTube. I'll be in the studio taking your calls, covering all this and a whole bunch more. I got a lot to cover today on the podcast, so don't miss it. That's right, Ice Baby. Yep. So tell me yes or no, do you agree with the idea of Venezuela becoming a U.S. territory like Puerto Rico? I mean, look, Texas was its own country, the Republic of Texas. They joined us. Yeah, I think it'd be awesome. They'd be Americans and Venezuelans. They'd have U.S. passports if they wanted a passport. I think it'd be great. U.S. having a territory in South America. Oh, man. And it would solve so much of the drug cartels would be out of business forever, as would the illegal immigration would be over. He is the best POTUS ever. That's why we need Trump in 2028. We need a third term of Trump to get all these things done. Well, if MAG is a brain disease, it's a brain disease I want to have, and I want everybody else to have, right? It's a great disease to have, if it's a disease. No, they're not going to be a welfare state. I've read several reports. They say that Venezuela has more oil than the United States, and I thought we had the more oil than anyone else. We're number 2, apparently, to Venezuela. Venezuelans are going to be rich. Venezuela is going to be the Dubai of the Western Hemisphere when this is done. They're all going to be Dubai rich. They'll be driving Lambos. There'll be Lambo dealers down there. There's so much money in oil. Oh, man. Now, OPEC probably going to be a little worried because they're not going to be as important. You know, with the United States and Venezuela as a team, we're going to have so much control over the oil markets of the world, OPEC's going to become irrelevant. It's exciting. Very exciting. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, guys, and make sure you click the notification bell. The next stream, which will be in an hour, I'll be live in the studio, and you can call me toll-free and share your opinions, regardless of your political persuasion. Although I don't know how anyone could not agree with all this stuff that the president is doing in the world. You know, you look at these spoiled babies. I'm going to show some of the video on the podcast today. You look at these spoiled liberal babies in Minneapolis trying to break into this hotel because ICE agents were staying there. They're insane. And then I see these brave Iranians in the streets risking their lives. All they have is the support of President Trump, who has told Iran that if they act out and start killing these protesters, that he's going to bomb them. So Islamic leaders of Iran are terrified of Trump, and these people are taken to the streets like I've never seen. I was talking at the beginning of the stream. I saw this one video. It was amazing. These women burning their hijabs in this huge bonfire. You know, they'd be executed for that if Trump wasn't in office. And we're going to get a free Iran, a free Venezuela. There's no way that Cuba's not going to fall. Then we'll have a free Cuba, all under President Trump and Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. Marco Rubio is going to go down in history as the greatest Secretary of State this country has ever had. I don't worry about Syria. Who cares about Syria? The Middle East is only relevant because they have all this oil. You put the United States together with the oil of Venezuela, OPEC will have no juice. We'll have all the juice with Venezuela. Absolutely. I welcome making Greenland and Venezuela territories. Hell, when Cuba falls, wouldn't Cuba be a great territory of the United States too? Yeah, absolutely. When Venezuela is secure and back to normal, maybe we'll take a MAGA cruise to Venezuela, or maybe one day we'll take a MAGA cruise to Greenland. When that opens up, I'd love to go to Greenland. Yeah. Yeah, get in the oil business. Move to Venezuela. Learn the oil business. It's a great future in it. Oh, it's all okay. We're going to, I would love to see Venezuela, Greenland, and Cuba as territories of the United States. And, when I saw this young girl take a photograph of the Ayatollah, this was just yesterday. She lit the photograph on fire and then lit a cigarette with this photograph of the Ayatollah. Wow. If it wasn't for Trump, her and her whole family would be executed. That's how much change is going on right now in Iran. Territories don't have voting rights in our presidential elections, so it doesn't mess up Congress. Territories, Puerto Ricans, Virgin Islands, Guam, they're part of the, they're territories. There's a couple others. They don't have a vote in Congress, so, and they don't get to vote in the presidential elections either. But they do get to elect their own leaders. They have governors and territorial legislators. They get to elect them. And they're Americans. It's a pretty good deal. But Iran could fall quick. I mean, they're taking these demonstrators are taking over whole cities. It's amazing. They don't have congressmen. They have what's called delegates. Delegates. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Guam, they have delegates. And delegates, they're in Congress. A delegate is in Congress. They even sit on committees, but they can't vote. They have a voice, but no vote. Right? So the territories have delegates to the Congress. They can go on the floor and talk like any other member of Congress. They can, they sit on committees and they ask questions of witnesses on committees, but they cannot vote. They have no vote. So it's not the same as being, a representative or a senator. It's different. Yeah. If you're new to my channel, make sure that you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Oh man, I tell you, all this winning. We're winning at levels that I didn't even know was possible. So I was checking the oil on my car this morning. I thought I washed all of it off my hand. I missed a spot. My new car, you can't check the oil. You just push a button on the dashboard and the computer checks the oil. But in my old car that I'm driving, I got to drive my old car like at least once a week. I got the dipstick and everything else. Mexico become a territory? Why the hell not, right? Why the hell not? Sounds good to me. But I'm serious about Venezuela becoming a territory, because if Venezuela is not under U.S. authority, there's probably a greater than 50% chance that eventually the corruption would come back in, right? And we don't want that to happen. How beautiful would that be? I think Venezuelans would love to be Americans. Manually? Yes, yeah. In my old car, I take out the dipstick and do it. In my new car, there's no dipstick. You can't. There's no way to, I couldn't believe it. I didn't know it when I got the car. I didn't know it until I got the first oil change. It's ridiculous. Nope, there's no dipstick. Does anybody else have a car like that has no dipstick in it? It's ridiculous. Oh man, this is all this winning of President Trump. Don't miss my podcast. It'll be live at 6:30 this morning. Lack of history knowledge. I have a degree in history. Mm-hmm. Winning, winning, winning. Lots of winning. Well, lots of coffee. Yeah. The new Dodge Ram doesn't have a dipstick. Yeah, I know. I don't, I'm not a big fan of that. It's a venti hot blonde Americano, and I got an extra shot of espresso, so it has 5 shots of espresso in it. Mm-hmm. I tell you, this Trump watch that my wife got me for Christmas, I love it. I mean, I don't wear, and you know, I have an Apple Watch, I never wear it. And I don't like to wear jewelry. I don't like to wear, but I've been wearing this nonstop. I love this Trump watch. Here's the front of it. Get a good look. It says Trump. Got his autograph there. Isn't that cool? And then on the clasp, 45-47, which is pretty cool. Then on the inside, of course, I kept the box. It's got the great fight, fight, fight image in it. Isn't that cool? No, it's not. It is awesome. They come in different colors, but I think the red one's the best. MAGA red. It comes in gold and black, but I think MAGA red is the best. Don't you? You know what President Trump says about the Trump watch? People who know what it is and what it stands for. That's right. It stands for freedom. Make America great again, baby. Mm-hmm. Well, this is interesting. Two detectives just rolled up in different cars. Yep. They just came to get coffee together. I thought something would happen. There was a couple weeks ago, there was a break-in at a store right next to the Starbucks here, and I was in the Starbucks getting my coffee, and the cops rolled up and came in. They thought they got the guy, but he had gotten away. Mm-hmm. Welcome, everyone. Make sure you subscribe. The next stream will be in, 50 minutes. I'll be in the studio podcasting, taking your live calls. No, it was raining this morning, so I'm in my old car today, my Kia. My wife keeps wanting me to get rid of our Kia that we have. We have one car that's brand new, and then our old car, the Kia, is a 2011. So it's 15 years old. We bought it in 2010, so it's like 16 years ago. It runs great. And my wife is always like, let's get rid of that old car. And I'm like, why? It's paid for. It's paid for. It just, you know, it costs like $50 a month on insurance, if that, you know. I like it. I use it every once in a while if I go to like Lowe's or Home Depot. No, it's not Chinese. Made in the USA, man. Mm-hmm. Yep, make sure that you subscribe. So, yeah, I was mentioning on the radio this week that they added 4 new radio stations that are carrying the program, and they told me yesterday that they're adding a bunch more. I don't have the date on it. It's not going to happen right away, but they're adding a bunch more stations that are going to be carrying the show soon. So I'm really excited about that. That's right, MAGA, baby. Welcome. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I know. It's nice. It's nice. It's always nice to get recognition when you're doing something. But Yeah, so today on the podcast, I got a lot to cover, so you won't want to miss it. And I'm going to show some video of what's been going on in Minneapolis, what's going on in Iran. But I have some major updates on the cell phone video from the ICE officer in the Portland incident with that lunatic liberal couple. And there's been some big updates in that since I went to bed last night. I'm going to cover that. That's going to be the lead story on the podcast today. I'll get into that then. That'll be in about 45 minutes. So make sure you're subscribed and click the notification bell. Yeah, you know, I just, you know, the left in these blue colonies like Portland and Minneapolis, they've just lost their minds. They advocate so hard for the illegals that are here. We're not against immigrants in the MAGA movement. The First Lady is an immigrant to the United States. The President is a first-generation American. All of President Trump's children, except Tiffany Trump, are first-generation Americans. Their mothers are all immigrants, legal immigrants, of course. President Trump's mother was a legal immigrant from Scotland. So, you know, we're not against immigrants or immigration, but you can't come here illegally and set up a life, and many of them are setting up a life of crime, right? All this Somali fraud in Minnesota, the violent crime from the Trinde guys. I mean, my goodness. The left have lost their minds to advocate for these people. They don't understand what they're doing at all. They've lost their freaking minds, no doubt about it. Yeah, they low IQ, and they think they're smarter than everybody else, but they're dumber than most. I mean, that's it. You know, we got our MAGA cruise in March, which you're all invited on. I've got to have my passport. I can't board the ship without the passport, right? Why do I need documents? To get off the ship for a few hours and have a good time. But they can come here with nothing? No, it's a venti hot blonde Americano with cream and an extra shot of espresso. No, these are not distractions. Let them tell you that. But I'll tell you, President Trump, what he's doing internationally is amazing. Can you imagine? He liberated Venezuela. Iran is about to liberate itself. And, you know, one of the things that is just really journalistic malpractice with their propaganda, CNN has a news bureau in Havana, Cuba. The European and Canadian press have media in Cuba. And I haven't seen any stories coming out of Cuba about how Cuba's dealing with not getting the oil from Venezuela. Have you seen any stories on? I haven't seen any. And you know that they are out of gas down there. They didn't have reserves. They were barely getting by as it is. And there's a complete cover-up to how bad it is in Cuba. And what I was talking about yesterday with that, I would love someone to take an aerial satellite photo. They can do it tonight, Saturday night, Friday and Saturday night. Take a satellite image of Havana at around 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night tonight, Saturday night. And then let's look at the same satellite image from 6 months ago, and let's see how many lights are on now compared to 6 months ago. I bet it's almost complete darkness in Cuba without getting that Venezuelan oil. I would bet anything on it. Yeah. And the media don't want you to know, because the media, like these idiots in Minneapolis, are communist, and Cuba's their last best hope of the survival of communism. They don't want to show you the fall of communism. I remember when the Berlin Wall fell, it was live on television, right? Any of you remember watching when the Berlin Wall came down? And you would we didn't have all this cable news we have now, but we had CNN and we had the networks, and they were practically in tears, these liberal reporters, when the Berlin Wall came down. It was like they were upset like the night that President Trump beat Hillary, or the news people like Walter Cronkite, when Kennedy was shot, they were like in tears because that was it for communism when the Berlin Wall fell, and they knew it. And Cuba's their last best hope. And not only is Cuba on the verge of collapse and can collapse any day, when it collapses, we're going to go there to stabilize it. It's not, you know, Cuba is 90 miles south of Key West, so it's 90 miles from our shore. We do have Guantanamo Bay there. We have a base there. And we're going to have to go there and help secure it. And it's going to be a beautiful place. And it's going to put the Bahamas out of business because Cuba and Puerto Rico, too, is going to get hit because people are going to go, when we, you know, when the communists fall and Cuba rebuilds with our help, that's where tourists are going to want to go. But there's no way that they're not having a major gas shortage right now. No way. If you're new to my channel, make sure that you subscribe, okay? You won't want to miss my next stream, taking calls. Got a lot of important things to cover. America first, that's right. Well, what President Trump's doing is securing the world. That's America first. Oh no, they're suffering in Cuba under communism. We want the communist government to fall. We want the Iranian government to fall so that people can prosper, like in Venezuela. Cuba is so beautiful, and it's pretty much 100% undeveloped. You know, it really is. I've flown over Cuba a few times during the day, and, you know, flying, you know, from the Caribbean and South America to and from Miami, you fly over Cuba, and Cuba's big. There's nothing. It's beautiful green, but there's no development. And when we take our MAGA cruises, a lot of times we're right off the coast of Cuba. You see nothing. The beaches are empty. There's, you know, every once in a while you'll see a house. There's no major buildings or anything. It's communism. They got nothing. They got nothing, but they will once the communists fall. And try and it's going to be beautiful. I mean, who would have ever thought Iran, Cuba, Venezuela all falling at the same time? That's Trump. Bringing freedom to people that have never experienced it. I mean, the Islamic Revolution in Iran was in '79. That is great. Yeah. If Venezuela becomes a territory of the United States, it'll be the most beautiful place in Latin America. They're going to have all that oil money. They've got a lot of natural resources, gold and other precious metals. You go back to Venezuela in 20 years, 40 years, 50 years, people will not believe what it used to be like. You know? We need Trump in 2028. Yeah, that's for sure. We need Trump in 2028. We need a third term of Trump because he's got so many things going on right now. That's why he works 20 hours a day. I bet he hates those 4 hours. Over those 4 hours, he probably only sleeps 2.5 of them that he's not working. And Europe's so insignificant now. Who cares about Europe anymore? Really. There's a homeless guy walking this way. He's a regular homeless guy here. This homeless guy, he was passed out on a table here the other day. I thought he was dead. I almost called 911, and I honked the horn to see if he moved, so I knew he was okay. Here he is. He's walking. Yep. Yep. Make sure you are subscribed. If he didn't move, I would have called 911, but he moved. Here he comes. He should go to Minneapolis and open up a daycare. He'll be a millionaire overnight. What's a persobin? P-E-R-S-O-B-N. I'm not familiar with that word. Is that English? Mm-hmm. No. Mm-hmm. Well, you've got to be on alert. Make America great again. MAGA for life, man. That's right. If you love Trump, press 1 in the chat, guys. If you love Trump, press 1. Yes. All numbers mean you love Trump, by the way. No matter what number you put in there, it means you love Trump. I forgot to mention that. So look at all that Trump love. Look at that. Lots of Trump love. All numbers mean you love Trump. Yes. 1s, 2s, 0. Whatever the number is, it means you love Trump. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Okay. That's right, guys. See, this is my old car. So I put this on the back of, my wife got me this. Look at this. This is on the back of this is my old car. Ultra MAGA edition. Isn't that cool? Ultra MAGA edition. Yes. I know. She wanted to put it on the new car. I'm like, no, I can't put that on the paint. But we can put it on this car. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, dark MAGA mode has been engaged. The homeless guy, I'm sitting down. Okay, this is why I came to the car. I'm sitting down. When I'm doing this live stream, next to this Starbucks, there's a restaurant that's not open till lunchtime. That's a couple doors down from the Starbucks, and they have outdoor seating, and they have a bar and tables. So when I was just live streaming, I'm sitting at this outdoor bar on the sidewalk, and sometimes I'm standing there, sometimes I'm sitting. They don't open till 11 o'clock. So when the homeless guy that just walked up, the one I thought was dead the other day, came up there and sat down 1, 2, 3 stools down from where I was. And I'm like, this is just, I gotta get it. That's crazy. There's only about 50 places to sit. He set 2, 3 spots down from me. What the heck? Well, you gotta be cautious. Just because someone's homeless doesn't mean they're a danger. However, it doesn't mean that they're not dangerous, and there's a high likelihood that they are mentally ill. So you got to be very careful. We don't have too many homeless. It's wintertime, right, up north. I mean, what's the temperature where you are right now? It's right now it's like almost 70 degrees here. So the homeless come to Florida in the wintertime with the birds. Yeah, and then when winter's over, they follow the birds back to the north. That's how it is. Yeah, it's about 68, 69 degrees right now. It's going to be in the low 80s today. So it's very nice here in Florida. There's always more homeless in Florida during the winter. 32, my goodness. 28, forget about it. Forget about it. All right, dark MAGA mode re-engaged. Now, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. In about half an hour, I'll be live streaming in the studio with my podcast. I got a lot to cover on the podcast today. You will not want to miss it, so make sure you're subscribed and click the notification bell. There's been some big developments after the release of the ICE cell phone video from Minneapolis, so I'm going to start with that. You know, that cell phone video yesterday changed everything. I mean, they've been trying to get on the left a false narrative going. And they've not been able to do it. The cell phone video of the ICE officer, which was a 360 view of everything that happened, just defeated any chance they have of a false narrative, but they're still trying. They'll never stop trying, these liberals. That's how they roll. Mm-hmm. At 6:30, 30 minutes, I'll be live in the studio. 30 minutes from now. I already have it. The stream set up. The thumbnail has that idiot Mayor Fry of Minneapolis in it. So when I end this stream in a moment, you can go over there and join that chat room right now. Would you have sat there 2-3 seats away from this homeless person? Oh, I don't think so. So strange. There's like 30, 50 seats. Why did he sit so close to where I was at? Now that was, I think that was a little aggressive, especially at, 6 o'clock in the morning? Mm-mm. Gotta be safe. Dark MAGA mode. Yeah, this car's so old. My daughter, when we bought this car new, my daughter was in 5th grade. She's going to be 27 years old this year. Or no, yeah, 27. She'll be 27. So, she was in 5th grade when I got the car. It's crazy. Boy, it was raining pretty hard this morning. All right, so if you're new, make sure you subscribe. I'm less than 30 minutes away from the podcast, so make sure that you're subscribed, click the notification bell, and next time you see me, I'll be in the studio covering some pretty big stuff and taking your calls. Thanks for watching, everyone. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for watching.